Welcome back to the weekly Bitcoin update, where we try to break down what happened over the last 7 days in the Bitcoin market. These updates are brought to you by FTX. You can click on the link in the description to learn more. Let's jump right into the data this week. Today we have Bitcoin trading just over $23,000. The market cap is about $435 billion. Over 90% of the Bitcoin supply has already been issued into circulation. The real exchange volume in the last 24 hours is sitting above $12 billion. Miners have been paid $21 million over the last 24 hours to continue to secure the Bitcoin network. GBTC's got a 22% discount to NAV. MicroStrategy's premium is at 51%, and Bitcoin is down approximately 66% from its all-time high of $69,000 back in November. If we compare Bitcoin Gold and the S&P 500, Bitcoin down 45% over the last 12 months. But over any other period, 2 to 10 years, Bitcoin continues to dominate both gold and the S&P 500. Next, we can look at Bitcoin's price closing history. Sitting at $23,000, Bitcoin has only been above this price point for 541 days of its life, meaning that for about 88 or 89% of Bitcoin's life, if you actually bought Bitcoin and held till today, you would be in profit. Then we can compare Bitcoin, gold, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and TLT. We see that the compound annual growth rate of 115% for Bitcoin over the last 10 years destroys any of the other assets. Bitcoin's Sharpe ratio also still sitting above 1, meaning that if you were to add it to a portfolio, it would add incredible benefit. Next, we can take a look at Will Clemente, who posted the Puell multiple. He says that it remains one of the most reliable macro bottoming signals for Bitcoin. He says this is likely because it is deeply rooted in first principles thinking around miner profitability. There have only been 5 times where the Puell multiple has signaled a bottom. November 2011, January 2015, November 2018, May 2020, and now in July 2022. Next, Dylan LeClaire points out that we have 7 straight daily red candles for Bitcoin, while equities seem to have caught a bid. Bitcoin has served as equity market beta for all of this year, and now it's selling off in an uptrend. If and when equities turn over next, expect a fire sale, according to Dylan. Now, this is fascinating to watch because the macro backdrop, we're getting confusing data points. Non-farm payrolls came in Friday morning with a huge positive beat, 528,000 new jobs versus an estimated 250,000 from market forecasters. That strengthening labor market is another green light for the Fed to further tighten policy. And if the economy beats, that means further tightening, which means bad news for markets. Quite the paradox, as Dylan LeClaire points out here. Now, as we continue to look at the Bitcoin market, there's a little bit of confusion. The market seems to have bottomed, but the macro environment is quite perplexing. We see that there's a strong labor market, but we have 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, which means that we're in a recession. As economists and Fed officials continue to point to that strong labor market, it means that they likely will continue to create tighter financial conditions. And the question is, how will Bitcoin fare during its very first deep recession? Ultimately, Bitcoin was seen as a risk asset by the Wall Street crowd, but it was also seen as a store of value, one to dollar cost average into by retail investors. That balance between Wall Street and the average Joe is ultimately going to decide how Bitcoin will perform during further tightened conditions. As you know, I enjoy doing these weekly updates, and I hope that they're valuable for you. I really enjoy going through all the different data points and learning not only what's going on with Bitcoin, but how it continues to look given that macro backdrop. These updates are brought to you by FTX US. FTX has incredibly cheap fees, sometimes as much as 85% cheaper than their competitors. They also recently introduced digital stock trading, which allows you to buy stocks right in the same place you buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. Those digital stock transactions come with no transaction fees and there's no payment for order flow, meaning you get better pricing. Go check them out today by clicking on the link in the description and let me know what you think once you try it. I'll be back next week with another update. I hope to see you there.